I wanted to also start by apologizing about my internet problems on Thursday. It was so frustrating. So I apologize. I kept almost getting on and then getting cut off. And so I had somebody come to fix it. So I apologize for the internet, or no, it should be my lack of skill at dealing with the internet problems. And I think you heard for music that Tasha played the Scarlatti version of the Latin of the first two lines for the Psalm 30, which is a very, very, very famous church piece. I don't know if any of those who grew up going to church, specifically Catholic, but I think Protestant also uses it, if it was familiar to anybody, but it's very commonly used. Obviously, that's a very formal choral setting, but I know that it's done in a lot of churches. And I know we didn't talk about it, but Harold pointed this out, that if you took the first words of any psalm in the church setting, those words in Latin are how the psalm is known. And if you then take those words and put them in YouTube, you will find, or if you just put in YouTube Psalm 30 church settings or something like that, but those are really, that's a very, very, very powerful piece in the church world, and takes very different verses from Psalm 30 than Debbie Friedman does to focus on, which there's a lot to, it's always interesting when a composer chooses to set something to music and they choose a line or a two or a phrase from a psalm, they're making choices. And so it's always interesting when a composer is choosing only a line or two, why or what they're trying to emphasize. They're not reciting the whole psalm. There's a focus, and a composer is making a choice. And so that's one of the very interesting questions to always ask when you encounter, including Debbie Friedman and Joey Weissenberg and Shlomo Carlebach, all of the contemporary composers. They're choosing something in the psalm that they want to emphasize. And that is very valuable to notice always when you're looking at a musical setting. And I know Cantor Hirsch, you also had volunteered to do some music. I'm not sure, so I don't know if that worked. Maybe for tomorrow. Would you be willing to do that?
I thought that was for today. You prefer for tomorrow?
I think, well, we could do today. We're just going to be going back to Psalm 28 today, but if you're prepared for today, I apologize. I forgot that we were going to be doing Psalm 28 today in the.
I see. I'm on Psalm 30. So you want me to go for tomorrow?
Harold, do you think we'll be back to Psalm 30 tomorrow or Wednesday?
Yes, I think that I think that we're going to be able to cover almost all of the offerings today, maybe a few for tomorrow, and then we would go into Psalm 30.
Great. So if you wouldn't mind doing the music for Psalm 30 for tomorrow, I think that would work.
Perfect. I won't be able to be in class on Wednesday, but I'm happy to be.
Perfect. Okay, so let's do that tomorrow. Okay, thank you, everybody. And a huge welcome back to Harold. And I'm sure other people welcomed him back before I got on. It was wonderful seeing the posts you did from Maine. What a very, Maine is one of the places that, for those of us on the East Coast, I think is a very important soul renewing and refreshing place in the summertime. I grew up often going to Maine, and I still, Maine, just there's something spectacular about it. And also getting out of muggy August New York and going to the air and freshness of the August Maine, just love it. There used to be a great chamber music festival in Portland, Maine, that I don't think has happened. I know that's not near Bar Harbor, but that was the other thing.
A lot of things have been suspended, but there certainly were a lot of tourists there. Yeah, but it was fun. It was gorgeous. Every day was something.
Yeah. So now you could look out your window and see the cliffs and the trees and the water. Anyway, so we are now going to do the personal offerings for Psalm 28.
Well, I think we're going to start with our Psalm 27 as we do.
Oh, right, of course. Thank you. Good thing Harold's back.
Yes, so we have Barbara Grindell reading Bernstein's Psalm 27.
Come on. Thank you. God, with you lighting my way, shielding me, what could I fear? You've saved me before. I've seen them fall, those who conspire to devour me. I've seen them, armies of them, weaken and fall. Now my heart has no fear, only desire for your ongoing presence. Let me in to the safety of you. When times get tough again, open your gates to me, welcome me, shelter me, nourish me, let me in. I'll get strong and face them yet again and win again and let them know you are me. I'm orphaned and alone at war. I need your arms. I need to trust, to know you're here. You're here lighting my path, giving me hope and showing me the way out.
Beautiful, thank you. I really just love hearing all your voices and all of your choices for the interpretations and translations. So fabulous. I hope you're all enjoying starting each day with Psalm 27 and keeping us focused. Okay.
So now we go to offerings. Monica Raymond has asked to go first today. And Monica, we understand, Monica, we've discussed some issues of audio here. So Monica, can you just give us a level check?
How's this?
If you could do it just even a little softer, that would be great, but it seems clear enough. So,
Okay, great.
all right, why don't you let me view full page. Okay, take it away.
8 billion. 1. Hear me. Who am I talking to? Hear me, earth. Hear me, sky. Hear me, trees. I'm going to go crazy if I don't think you're listening to me. But why should you listen? What have I done to save you, really? Signed a few petitions. 2. Have mercy on me. I'm a human, one more of the 8 billion humans that share this planet, who do everything to destroy you, and so little to save you. 3. Do not count me with the wicked and evildoer, said the psalmist of old. But me, I don't see how you're going to make such clear distinctions. 4.
Love that. Yep.
Pay them according to their deeds. Comes the pushback, the playback, the fires, the floods, heat waves, and hurricanes. I expect to be caught up in these, like all the rest. For they do not consider the Lord's deeds the work of his hands. Or should it be, we do not consider the work of his hands. 6. Thank you for every day you still put out those tiny leaves of privet, dandelion scraggling through rock with jagged leaf, that swath of ever-changing sky. It wasn't because you heard me, but because you can't help yourself from layering beauty daily into the atmosphere. And good and bad, even kindness and cruelty have nothing to do with it, really. Relentless surge of sunset, belly full of cloud. So far, our malice and our carelessness, still too small to stop it. 7. So that's my tiny prayer to you, what you daily make, that has nothing to do with salvation. No more noise, no punished or blessed, no more chosen. All of our capillaries, thin skins, our urgent blood pulsing human ocean, drowned or
Monica, we lost you for that last verse here. All of us with our capillaries, thin skin, our urgent blood. So Monica, we were good until the last verse. So as Monica and I agreed, I would just finish it. 9, all of us with our capillaries, thin skins, our urgent blood pulsing. Drowned or saved together. We 8 billion. So.
Wow, Monica. Mostly you came through very clear and easy to hear. That was just for that last verse that we lost you.
So,
This,
Monica, I'm gonna have to mute you because you're now hearing just, I'm so sorry about this. You're just hearing static. Monica, we're
there's
hearing
some kind of weird feedback happening, huh?
weird feedback from someone. So let's thank Monica for that beautiful offering. And if
Really
everyone could
spectacular,
please,
Monica. Is everybody muted who's not?
everyone needs to mute themselves, please. Please. Let's see if I'm muted. Oy. All right.
No,
No.
that's weird.
All right. So let's go
Hold on, I
back
just
up.
want, I just want to say a couple of words about Monica's. Could you go
Yes.
back to Monica so I could
course,
speak
of
about it a
course.
second? Monica, your use of language is breathtaking. It really is. Just your ability to craft, and I just want to find what, there was a couple of things I wanted to refer to, and but me, I don't know how you're going to make such clear distinctions. I think that captures so much of how we read sometimes this references to wicked and evildoers. Okay, hold on. How do we know? That sounds so good, but maybe am I one of them? You capture in there that sense of, we all were. Where is that? Where does that line get drawn exactly? I just love that. And I expect to be caught up in all these, like they're all the rest. Just beautiful. I just think you capture this. Also the beginning by who am I talking to? The questions that so many of us have about where is it, who am I addressing with all of this? And I think that makes it so deeply human and so deeply real for all of us. And then you get to a place of saying this, thank you, thank you, thank you for every day you still put out those tiny leaves, et cetera. You get to that place of gratitude for the things that, even while none of us can answer those big questions, who's really evil, who's really good, who is God? Is there a God? Why am I here? And then you get to those beautiful sense of gratitude. So that's my tiny praise song to you, what you daily make. And you're rejecting all these big things about redemption, salvation, history. You'd see at Mitzrayim, and you're going for the tiny praise song. That is so powerful. So gorgeous. Love this, Monica.
Thank you,
Love,
Monica.
love, love this.
We'll go back to the top now. And is Sherry here?
I am.
Okay, take it away.
Ascension. I am in the pit. My deafening cries distort, battle, bounce off the hard rock walls. I cup my hands around my mouth and chin up, whisper, rescue me? Silence. A shaft of light appears. As the sun passes over the aperture, it beams its stream to me. Now I see. My walls are granite, crystalline. Each quartz bit sparkles and feldspar veins thread a path to the top. Etched into the wall are holes, jugs, edges, crimps, pinches, pockets, flakes my hands can grip. Hands chiseled these holes. What hands and how I cannot grasp. I start my climb, hold by hold, towards strength and song.
Sherry, I love this. And I love that you chose to go to the pit as the framework, because that's such an important image from the Psalms and from all of Jewish and rabbinic thought, but for sure biblical thought about this sense of, and as I've said last week many times, it really kind of parallels contemporary, recovery language of talking about bottoming out, the sense of there is a bottom that's below the bottom, and that's the pit. And then this idea of etched into the wall are holds, jugs, edges, crimson, my hands can grip, just spectacular. Really spectacular. I love that you chose to really literally dive in. You know, go deep, dive in and really explore this. And the contrast with my walls are granite, like how do I get out is very powerful. Beautiful.
So I'm just going to take 1 second because I have to. This is from hiking in Maine a few days ago.
Uh-huh.
It just was brought right back. The granite
Wow.
with the crevices with the handholds. So Sherry, that was particularly evocative for me. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Yeah,
Beautiful, Harold.
in Kefalonia, Greece, there's a mound, it looked like a big hill in Melisani, and the top of the mound fell in about 100 years ago. And they looked down and there was this underground lake with stalagmites and stalactites. And to this day, you can go in and take a boat in the little lake. And from 11:30 to 12, the sun comes overhead and it lights up everything. And
Wow.
I don't know how much granite sparkled when you were in Maine, but it can be pretty enlightening.
Wow. Thank you. Dean, another study.
Yeah, so this is Psalm 30. As you know, I was very moved by Bernstein's, excuse me, Psalm 28, but Bernstein's interpretation. So our famed match, the speaker for our psalm, has trails ever so faint. And then you can see the matches that have propped themselves up on stilts, and their ashes are feeding into the abyss and the suffering of others. So,
Wow. Wow. And I'm looking for, there's the, I see. I'm looking for the unlit match. Beautiful, Dean. You know, it's interesting. The shape of it looks a little bit like the Louisiana boot to me today.
yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
Painful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Dean.
Michael?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're fine.
All right. I was using Bernstein very freely. If the good ignores me, I could fail. Consequently, aid me in avoiding duplicity to all, including myself. Duplicity is everywhere, turning some humans into false gods, ignoring the needy, pleading for help. Now, stop false gods forever. Honor those who revere the good. Rescue those who do good. Praise Israel. Transport humanity for eternity. The good is everlasting, even as some people fail.
Beautiful. I really, really appreciate your evolution of the good here. And when you say you emphasize that you base this on Bernstein loosely, what do you mean by that?
I read her words and I picked my own words to paraphrase her.
Uh-huh. So is that different than what you usually do though?
No,
So, okay.
this
so
time I used the Bernstein instead of anybody else.
I see. So you're focused on where you came from. Good. I love this. I find this also, duplicity is everywhere. Isn't that the truth? And to contrast that with the good. Honor those who revere the good. Very powerful. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Cole?
Mute. All right. Hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay. And I think I stole this title from Allison, but there it is. Hear me. Can I insist? Like a cat that each morning knocks things over. First the glasses, then the bottle. What's left of my Ambien rolls beneath the bed. Amnesiac, awaken. It's time to fill her plate, to bring the cat her offering. Pretend you didn't hear? there'll be no rest. What can I knock from God's nightstand? I'll not push any safer to the floor or tangle myself in phylacteries. Spilling the bedside water glass would frighten us both. I've memory of being neck deep in the stuff and a more recent fear of shards. There's your favorite pen, but rolled to the edge and off, it barely makes a sound. There's your reading glasses. I could send them to the floor with just a nudge, but do I really want a less discerning God than the one I've got? I do not. Showing a blinder, or pretends to be, doesn't notice the armies amassing or the lone wolves coming out of their lairs. God's counting sheep, insists on beauty rest, 40 winks and more.
Wow.
Hears nothing but the snores, claims that it's thunder and that we asked for rain. Trouble yourself to look at a map. Our wells are full, the rivers overflowing. Aber dort ständig brennt, but there a continual fire. The lake bottoms crack, another acre, 1,000, and you do nothing. Weep over it. We are anointed in ash. Particulate enters the lungs, and even the mind fills with smoke. Don't your eyes burn? Or are you dreaming again of your benevolence, unamused by our sayings, as Gott wohl wohnhaft red, wollten ihm die Menschen die Fenster ausgeschlagen. Yes, we would break your windows if you lived down here on earth. Where is the arm we've read about, the reaching out, the rescue? Even demons at a wedding are satisfied when just one precious goblet is shattered. They do not ask for more.
Wow, Cole. What a journey you take us on here. And I really love the way you pull out from the first verse of Psalm 28 into "Hear Me" as the headline, as the opening, as the, just that becomes the both a plea, a command, all of those things. Very powerful. It's really powerful. Pretend you didn't hear. Really a beautiful use of that. Wow. Thank you, Cole. Really
Well, for
beautiful.
those of us without Yiddish, can you tell us what the Yiddish means?
Yeah. So the first short phrase is showing a blinder, already blind. Already blind. And then the rivers are overflowing, ständig brennt, but there it burns continually. And then that's saying, as Gott soll wohnen auf der Erde, bald in ihm die Menschen die Fenster ausgeschlagen. If God lived on the earth, people would break his windows.
Wow.
But that's not original.
Right. That's a great expression. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a great expression of how it's classically a Jewish thing to be mad at God, to be angry at God, to express. Part of relationship is to express disappointment in God. And that's a very classic Yiddish saying that really reflects that.
All right.
Great.
Donna?
Thank you.
Thank you. Donna?
Okay. Oh God, my God, you are my rock. Don't turn away when I call out to you. Without your presence, I risk falling into the pit of my own mind. What a dark and lonely place that can be. Hear me when I cry out. See me looking upward toward your holy mountain, reaching for the safety of your sanctuary. The wicked hide their evil doings behind phony smiles. Let karma serve them their comeuppance. May the self-proclaimed demigods fall off their wobbly stilts. May they sink into the marsh of oblivion they merit. Blessed are you, Adonai. Thank you for seeing me. You accept my best intentions, even when I miss the mark. When I call to you from bended knees, you hear my pleas for mercy. You are my strength and my protection. My heart trusts in you. You offer help when I need it. Forever I will sing your praises. Selah. You are the stronghold of deliverance for your anointed ones, who choose to be chosen by listening for your voice, no matter how still. As we approach the days of awe in a time of encroaching despair, deliver us, Adonai. Help us remember to be grateful. Lead us to higher ground and life-giving joy. Sustain us, rain blessings on us, bring us peace. Amen.
Wow, Donna, what a gorgeous way of tying, as I keep saying that for me, Psalm 28 is so connected to Psalm 27 and the days of awe, and the work so beautifully. You really focused on that and lifted that out. I loved also the formatting of your final verse there, which really is perfect. But I think this is an incredible prayer you've written for these days of awe. Really a powerful prayer that any one of us could say. You accept my best intentions even when I miss the mark. That's what we hope for, right? When I call out from you from bended knee, you hear my plea. That's what we hope for. Very, very beautiful. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara,
Thank you. Sometimes I feel you do not hear me, Adonai.
Mhm.
Sometimes I feel you do not listen. I need your help to rescue me from the dark times. When I have the temptation to be less than truthful to myself and others, when someone asks me how I'm doing, and I say on autopilot, I'm fine. But during those dark times, I am anything but fine. I go back to the if only thoughts about my son John's death. Most of the time I am fine and answer truthfully, because even with a tear in my heart, as I go about my day, I have learned to find joy. Finding joy in the world has been possible through Adonai's many gifts to me. I am thankful and so grateful for my loving wife, our pups who were sent to us by you, Adonai. Jonah and Gabby bring light and joy every time I look at them and see them looking back at me. Our decision to spend 5 months on Cape Cod every year enriches my senses. Sunshine, beaches, swimming, gardening, volunteering at an organic farm, picking tomatoes, and loving the aroma of the fruit of the vine. The everyday scenes of green, tall trees casting beautiful shadows on the country road as I drive by. All of my activities bring me closer to you, Adonai. I am saying thank you for all my gifts that I have been given. I feel John's presence when Adonai is listening and helping me reach for joy and gratitude. Many heartfelt thanks to you, Adonai.
Wow, beautiful, Barbara. And what an honor to be a part of your journey as you've moved through these seasons. And I love that you start out saying, sometimes I feel you're not listening. Sometimes I feel unseen, unheard. All of that is really perfect to express how in your psalm, you're showing a range of reactions. It's not all, sunshine and roses, as they say, right? And I love very much the specifics that you really go through what you're asking yourself, okay, what is it that I see God's reflection in, and that gives me this sense of joy, this sense of purpose, this sense of meaning, even with the heaviness of the loss of John. Like that, you're not living in denial. That's not denial. You're able to hold it all at once. And that's the best we humans can reach for, right? To hold it all at once and not let the grief be the only experience of life. But you've had to go through a tunnel of grief, but it remains with you forever. So that's really beautiful.
Yeah, I wrote this pretty quickly. Something about the temptation to be less than truthful got me to the rest of it. I just, to start with that. People say, how you doing? Well, you're not going to tell everybody how you're doing.
Right.
So, and I am in a group, the survivors of suicide group. And I'm always saying to them that you can hold both things.
Yeah.
I can smile, I can laugh, I can have joy, and
Yeah.
still, of course, have a tear or a tear in my heart.
Yeah, I like the
They both go, and then
Right.
that's the only way. And again, I've said so many times that the dogs, that Jonah and Gabby have saved us. They've saved me. There's no question. Because you could be as upset, angry, or in a dark moment, and then they come up and they lick your face, or they, all the stuff that dogs do. And it just totally changes my mood, and I'm just happy again. So, yeah, but this, yeah, I think also there's some of 30 in here. This is the first time that we wrote 28 when we had already studied 30. And as I was writing this and realizing that I was giving gratitude and thanking Adonai, I realized that's part of Psalm 30 as well. So it's a mixture, but thank you for all this class has
And
done for me.
I say over and over again, and if you look through the Siddur or the Machzor, many of our prayers are, tapestries of collections of different lines of Psalms put together. So you're in good company doing that. That's a very, very traditional thing.
Thank you so much.
Dorina,
Is my sound okay?
yes.
Yep.
I am so small. What is the point of talking to the silent universe? I feel so small, so insignificant. I have no hope that anyone will hear, no matter what I say. Yet I persist. Persist with what? I don't know what to say. I don't know how to try to plead, to bargain, when it is not about me anymore. This is the strangest way to be defeated. What does it matter? What does it matter that I have tried so hard to save myself? That I have tried so hard to save the others? What do a single person's efforts matter amid collective failure? I am too small to change the universe. It is too late now to avert disaster. I walk around with this secret grief that other people cannot understand because they don't believe in the pandemic. Is there still time for some last minor changes before the current wave reaches its peak?
Sorry.
Dorina, once again, your language is so powerful to express this pain, this level of grief, this level of what is the point of talking to the silent universe? Wow. I am too small to change the universe. These are very, 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 very human responses, and you've given language to them that's really powerful. Do you want to say anything about writing this, Dorina?
Yes, it's at least in 3 Psalms in this, let's call it the latest series, this insistence, this plea of hear my voice. And there is literally no one to hear my voice around here.
Yeah.
When I talk to the people around me, they just refuse to listen. I can't persuade anyone to get vaccinated. And things are going very badly in my country, although it's still not so terribly visible. It will soon become very visible, but I'm the only one around who notices.
We hear you, Dorina, and we are in a world full of real dangers right now. So thank you for being part of this community. And we're very grateful for your soul and your words.
Wow, thanks, Dorina. Lori?
Okay. Musings from the pit. I had surgery and I cannot lift up my hands. So I will lift up my heart instead, and maybe my head, or at least my eyes, in the hopes that will ease the anxiety I feel in the moment. I placed myself in the hands of others, doctors, nurses, anesthesiologists, physical therapists, those who have power over me in matters I cannot control. But here's the rub, the illusion that I can control things so they turn out how I think I want them to turn out, instead of letting go and surrendering to powers greater than myself. I need a shoulder to lean on because mine is not working right now. Maybe that right hand that is always extended to me works better than the one I have been relying on since I was little. And true strength and comfort will come from replacing broken parts.
Again, I love this use of the word pit and getting into pit as an image for this place of despair. So that's very powerful, and I'm glad. It moves me to see people starting to use this biblical imagery, and because once you use it, it's also referring to Joseph's pit. It's using to over and over all these things. Do you want to say anything about writing this?
Well, actually, you said something in your drash on Friday night that really was on my mind as I was writing this, that helped me accept help, and that it's sometimes hard to ask for help and then even harder to accept it. And then this offering is about trusting when I don't have any power over what's happening, and then a renewal in the end. It felt like a very biblical journey. And you had asked me, by the way, a while ago, what about how I write these poems and how I do the lines, and I said they just come, but each stanza is really its own thought, and that's why I do the indentations like that. I didn't think about why I did it that way till you asked me, and that's what it is. So,
well, that's one of the definitions of creativity, right? It's not all rational decision making. So, a painter doesn't always say, this is why I'm using this. It's an emotional expression of an artistic sensibility. So
Right.
It's really so wonderful to hear. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Hey, hi. I made some changes. I'm sorry, Harold.
That's it. Okay.
My Psalm 28 in honor of Karuta with MM, David's footprint. My rock, if I call to you and you don't answer, I might as well be dead. I don't believe that for a moment. I don't believe a word I just said. Are you a rock, hard, sharp, foreboding? Or are you porous with hidden water inside, waiting for a knock of the staff in just the right spot, like when the masseur unlocks the knot in your shoulder? But that's not happening. So, rock, what is it going to take? Do you need prompting from prayer? If so, let those waters that run deep inside your harsh core hear its twin waters hidden deep inside of me. Let what was hidden for healing now awaken and stretch out in the bright light of day. My arms are raised to you, defying my fear that those all around will pull them back down and restrain them with tight binding rope, hoping to kill off my hope. Drumheads tautly spread with the skins of the dead resound with lies that won't lie. They trounce the Constitution and the election and refuse to protect themselves from protection. These liars want to wrap this crap up in the flag, better yet wrap the flag round their dicks and let their cum stick white bits the red and the blue. For them old glory is suddenly new. And rock, where in hell are you? Are you hiding, not wanting to bear your fair share of the blame? Creator of all, are you ashamed? Do you want to atone? Well, it's that time of year. Or at least let the shofar let loose its blast and let the walls of Jericho fall. Give to your enemies according to their deeds, according to their evil, to the work of their hands, which destroy what you would have thrive. Why allow them a chance to survive? My throat has dried up with rage. Rebuke has rendered me mute. Silence returns. And I look towards my rock from which now waters flow, and from nowhere Shekhinah stands by my side. I am in love, and my beloved loves me. For the first time we, at last, will be wed. Adonai Echad, my rock and I, Echad. And now I believe every word I just said.
Wow, Jeremy. What a tour de force. Wow. That image, like when the masseur unlocks the knot in your shoulder. That's just so perfect. So would you just tell us a little bit about writing this, Jeremy?
This one has been very difficult. I don't know, I started with The Rock, and I had this wonderful chavruta with Marcia, and later that day I wrote a version of this that was like 3 pages long. And I kept living with it and saying, oh, I like this, and then I said, this is bullshit. Cut it. So I tried to bring it back down, and to try and find in what I was trying to say. And the journey through rebuke to teshuvah became clarified in listening. I'm sorry, our newest rabbinical intern on Shabbat morning.
El Werber.
Yes, who delivered a wonderful drash on this, and it affected me. And so there you have it. Beautiful.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. So spectacular.
And I added those 2 lines because of Rabbi M this morning. I had all sorts of things about the vaccine in there in the 3-page version, and I had taken them all out, but I just felt I had to put it back in. So I did.
Jeremy, if you
All right,
send me
thank you,
those, send me.
Jeremy.
I will. Okay. Thank you, Bill.
We have one last short offering from Sue.
Okay, great. Hi, Sue. So gesund, Harold.
Thank you. Is Sue here today? Do we see her in chat or participants?
I don't see her on the participants list.
Okay. Let's see. We have another Monica. Sarah Sill, could you share yours today? Is Sarah Sill here?
I'm here.
Okay, Sarah.
So there was actually a prescript on this, but I'll tell you about it afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, so Song 28. Someday over the rainbow, way up high, there's a force that is boundless. Some call you Adonai. Somewhere under the rainbow, here we are, praising and praying for some sign. You're more than a distant star. Someday I hope to feel you near, to wake up with my doubt and fear behind me, where enemies have no power or sway, and peace will fill my heart each day, till faith and goodness can define me. Somewhere under the rainbow, here am I. Can you hear my voice singing, calling to you, Adonai?
Beautiful, Sarah. I love the use of the somewhere over the rainbow. Would you tell us a little bit about writing this?
Yes, so I was taken by how repetitive all these Psalms are. It's kind of annoying. And the themes, sometimes they're explicit, sometimes they're hidden, but many times there's just repeated. And I thought some of them are sort of redundant and verbose. And then I started thinking, well, what is the point of all this? Well, it's to communicate certain themes over communities, over generations. And then one day it just kind of, I think through some of the Haruta, it occurred to me that these are songs, and songs are repetitive, and songs have structure. And I was reading a book, and then it said something like, when people sing, they don't stutter, they don't stumble, they have courage. And so the whole idea of singing as a device to aid memory, like I still remember the Marseillaise, which I learned about 100 years ago in French class. And why is that? I don't remember so many other things, but the power of song is so vibrant. So I started thinking about songs, and then I came to Over the Rainbow, probably because subliminally I watch all the rainbow yarmulkes and all the banners on Zoom. And that's what it came up with.
Beautiful. So creative. And oops, did I lose everybody?
No, we're here.
Oh, there you are. I think it's true. And I think understanding how to relate to the repetition is a piece of being open to the power of the Psalms. And we've talked about it in different ways. And what's the role of repetition? How does it function in a world that we live in, which is so fast moving? And if you read a book twice, it's very unusual. And if you do anything, we live in a very fast world, and there's some depth in religious practices of all different kinds, not just Judaism, in which repetition plays a deep role. And I think it's true for a lot of spiritual practices. It's true for a lot of creative practices. Somebody doesn't just sit down at the piano and perform a difficult piece of music without a lot of hours of boring repetition. Or maybe it's not boring, but you just don't do the highest level. And sometimes I think the Psalms are a little bit like that they carry us around and around and around and around. And then poof, once you'll see something, you'll feel something, you'll experience something, it'll become that moment of transformation. Adria Benjamin, I'm not sure she's on today, but she spoke once when we talked about this issue about repetition. And she used a phrase that I've thought of a lot, where she said, repetition is transformation, so it's a different way of looking at it. It's not the same thing every time you repeat something, actually.
Right. And the power of song. I think that's also
and the power of song.
Power of
Absolutely.
music to just transform.
Which is also the Psalms. The Psalms is a musical, we know. And over and over again, the Psalms talk about music as a powerful, well, thank you so much. Beautiful.
So that's it for today. We have a few left for tomorrow, and then we will have our musical discussion of Psalm 30 with Chazan Hirsch.
And then we'll go back to 30 if there's time too.
Right. And then to pull together a few strings, I had spoken early on about taking the Machzor to Maine with me and taking a look and just reading through it and reading particularly the notes and being so enriched this year with understanding of how the Psalms appear in every page of the Machzor, a full Psalm or a verse of Psalms or a reflection of Psalms. And other people had said the same thing. Believe it or not, Rosh Hashanah is a week from today, is the service. Yep. And I know that all of you have this beautiful Machzor at home, and it would be a lovely idea to take it out. You don't have to read from end to end. Go to something that means something to you. Unatana Tokef. Go to Kol Nidre and study it on your own before the service. It goes past so quickly in the service that sometimes, it really pays off to have studied it beforehand. So with that, Rabbi, any other final words for us today?
I think that's it for today. The room will stay open for a little bit, and we'll continue finishing up 28, going back to 30. And I suspect this week we'll round up with Psalm 30, and then maybe after Rosh Hashanah, we'll do the personal offerings of 30. How's that sound, Harold?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. So
when does Psalm 30 get due? When is it due?
We'll get back to you on that, Michael. I'm just back today. The rabbi.
Yeah,
and
we'll
I will
get back
work-
to you, but this week we'll continue studying Psalm 30 for Wednesday and Thursday, Tuesday, the left of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you'll have time. You could be working on it now, but you'll have time.
Thank you.